One of my subscribers sent me over a few tracks and asked if I would like to analyze them. I've never done it on YouTube, but I like the challenge, so here it is. He sent me over a few tracks, but this one caught me the most. So there's something interesting going on here, and that's quite rare. Jeff, thanks for being brave. Now let's talk about your track. Okay, we're back. All right, cool track, huh? I think that's the track that Jeff mentioned is inspired by Trent Miller. It gives me solid synth, IDM, synth pop kind of vibe. I really like the sound design and the collection of sounds here. This is very important if you want your track to sound coherent, to select appropriate sound. So Jeff nailed it here. Very, very well done. There are some transient issues, but this is craft. This is something that you can sit down and learn. The most important, like the taste, is here. And what is working? Yeah, like we have plenty of things going on. We have several synth lines, mostly bass, that are driving the track. I really like this like harsh metallic sound, although maybe we could compress some things a little, like tame this transients, especially in the parts where we have some turnarounds and additional synth elements coming to, like, you know, introduce some variation. But variations are here also on point because it's a short piece, but I would like to listen to more. So yeah, like I really like this style, this vibe. So really cool. What is original here? Not sure if you followed. Not sure if you did the math. But when I was listening to this track for the first time, what got me was that at first I was like, oh, is Jeff trying to like introduce some elements like before the end of the traditional loop? But no, this track is based on a 7-bar loop. And I find it cool because that's not usual. Mostly people write stuff like with a 4/4. And here we have something fresh. So this by default creates interest because our body expects this loop to continue, but no, it ends and we enter the next section. So that's a very cool thing here. And yeah, this simply lands. What else to add? There are a few things that I would develop if this was my track. So first of all, I mentioned transients. These are like mixing decisions. I also checked this track in a spectrum, like a tonal balance. And I noticed that, yeah, I already clicked that, that Jeff didn't take care of the mono part, of the low end part of the track. I mean, it's safer to put it, you know, quick fix utility with a bass mono button on. And this is just to prevent some phasing issue, especially in this case, because as you can hear, or maybe see, if we turn it off and we check the low end, okay, this is just the bass section. You can see that there's a lot of things going in a panorama, in a spectrum. And it's amazing, but it would be better if it was happening like above the low end. Yeah, because the main bass as you can tell, it's just a straight monoline. Additionally, we just did like toilet test, so that's also a good thing, something that you can do to check how your track will translate in like practical environment. And what I mean is that sometimes in the club, the club in the living live music performance conditions, the bass can be very intimidating, and if we don't nail this part, there's usually a risk of it being like a big noise. And by simply applying the slow pass filter and listening just to our low end, we are able to identify, do the toilet test. So how the sound would sound like if you left the gig and went to the toilet. And if it's still groovy, if you can identify the parts, you pass the test. I have no questions about it here. And then there's this one thing that I said the 7-bar loop is a benefit, but it can sometimes be problematic from the same reasons that it is a benefit, right? What I mean by that is that our body expects something to happen, and that happens here around, I'll call it bridge section. So I marked this, here we have this 14 bars, and what's happening here is that I think Jeff applied a groove on drums, and this created a little bit like offbeat. I think this is also the idea behind the title, maybe not. I don't know much about the concept from Jeff. Maybe he can give us more info in the comment. Nevertheless, what I mean is that here in this section, if that would be my track, I would spend more time to make sure that the bass and the drum give us similar groove. Because here in this part, oh sorry, we don't want the low pass. In this part, we have the groove, but we also have a hi-hat. And probably the hi-hat is giving us this like, breakbeat vibe, like Amen break, where, we hit 3 different types of elements, low, mid, high, and the balance between these 3 give us simply like the proper groove to move. While in this section, we are not blessed with the hi-hat anymore, and I'm not sure if this is exactly the same joint pattern. That's why I actually clicked on stem separation here. This is not the same groove. Not only we're missing hi-hat, but simply you can tell here if you listen just to drums, or if we don't. That here something got moved. And I understand the concept here, and I think it simply needs a little bit more work. So it's nothing to worry about. Again, it's a technical aspect, and the idea behind it is original and it's cool. So if it was my track, I would sit here a little bit longer to make sure that there is the groove maintained, because I could feel it throughout the rest of the track, and here I'm missing it a little. And now going back to the 7-bar loop, what I mean is that because I was missing this groove, like it was clashing because of how the bass starts, you can also see here that the bass starts before the start of the first bar, and that's why together they give us this vibe. So again, so we have the kick clashing with the bass, but that's not the biggest issue here. The thing with the timing, this is where I would sit a little bit and try to move your body to it, and your body doesn't lie. You will feel how this track should move forward. And what to do to take this track to the next level, this is up to Jeff. If again I was working on this track, I would try to build more tension and release. And we have enough diversity going on, but I feel like in the concept of the whole track, like when we look like a full story, we can think about the movie. We usually have something happening, like an introduction, then the peak, something goes wrong, and then we go back again. We can help ourselves achieve similar things in music, by using, for example, pads, some atmospheric hits. And what by default is increasing the intensity are the high tones. That's why if you listen closely to the music, you can identify the higher energy level by simply elements like percussive, like hi-hats, rides. So in this case, I don't think that's necessary. That's absolutely not the type of music where we need to add intensity with rides. So what I did here is that I used the preset from Ableton. It's called Fake Reverb, and I automated the filter so it opens. And this is also automated. This is reverb on ascent. Yeah, played pretty long decay variation. You know, the moment when the next part comes in, your body feels more satisfied because we release endorphins apparently while we are waiting for release, and this is the moment of release. Jeff, thanks again for sharing this track with me, with us. Really good work. There's an identity in there, there's an idea, there's something special going on, something different. So that's the foundation, and I think you have what it takes to take it to the next level, because all you need is simply craft, and craft comes with practice. This kind of video is new for me, but if it's useful for you, let me know. You can reach out to me, send me your tracks, and if you're shy, you can also reach out to me, and we can just discuss your tracks one-on-one. Thanks, be creative, and see you next time.